What's up, guys? It's BarrowsBOY here for another poll review, content poll review. We're looking at the poll. Let's look at it. It's amazing. We're rejuvenating the wilderness. So those of you who have missed everything that Jagex has been posting on the main page of the Old School site, they are planning a huge overhaul of the wilderness, basically driving more traffic to the Wildy. A lot of it includes adding some new and unique boss monsters, all sorts of stuff. We're going to get right into it with this poll. As Jagex suggests, although this poll or this video rather, is going to be a great guide for you, I'm going to let you know, just the ins and outs of pretty much every question we have on here. There are 30 fantastic questions. But you should definitely read the dev blog as it is shown above. The quick find code is obviously right here. So please do read over that. Read over the dev blog. It will help you a lot. So, up to the first question, would you like us to upgrade the Wilderness to the basic level as featured in the latest development blog, Rejuvenating the Wilderness 2? So, for those of you wondering what that looks like, here it is. This is what the Rejuvenated Wilderness will look like. Now, I know that this is not, much at all, and really you can't even see the whole thing because I'm not zoomed in enough. But let's just look at this little area here. All of this red area is a currently existing multi-combat. Jagex is actually planning on adding some multi-combat zones. Which would be to the Green Dragons. They've actually, I guess, removed that, and they have decided to not make those multi-combat zones, which is quite interesting. So this is new news to me. But basically, we've got all sorts of stuff. We've got these little cool symbols up here that kind of tell us who's going to be going where. It's very interesting. We'll talk about all these individual areas as we get into the poll. But for now, all you have to know is that this map is available to you from the dev blog. You can find it very easily. So, yes, I do want the Rejuvenated Wilderness. Pretty simple question. However, I don't know why this question is here. It seems like we're just answering questions about what we want in it from here on. So let's just, I guess this is the overarching question. If everyone votes no to this, then every single other question in this poll pretty much doesn't matter, which is kind of stupid. But regardless, let's move on. Should we stop players from teleporting out of the KBD layer? This is a good question, and one that I don't really know how to answer, frankly, because I think the KBD is a great kind of balance between a safe zone, but also there's a big risk of going in there. It's a little interesting. So I don't know. It's basically a way of making it more dangerous for people. I really don't know how to vote, to be honest, but all you have to know about this is that once you're in the KBD layer, you have to pull the lever again, and you have to go back out through the wilderness. If I'm thinking about killing KBD, this takes any sort of motivation for going through the KBD away. So I'm going to vote no because I think it's already dangerous enough. Once you get teleblocked, you're kind of screwed. And the fact that you would have to not only get to get into the KBD layer safely, which in theory is still not wilderness, it's a very interesting balance. You'd basically be stuck in the wilderness with a giant dragon until you could either log out inside or, otherwise. So once you're in there and you kill the dragon, there's not really much threat. And anyone who's going in there, it's usually not PKers. Obviously, PKers use it as a safe haven to, escape. But I don't think that is the main player who's being targeted by this vote. So I'm going to vote no because I think for people actually killing the KBD, this is just going to drive them away. Number 3 is, should we add 3 new rune rocks to the Ice Plateau? Yes, add more resources to the wilderness, drives more skillers, drives more bots. Regardless of its skillers or bots, it drives traffic to the wilderness, which brings PKers, which brings PKers to PK the PKers, etc., etc. Now, the Fountain of Rune. This is one of those things that you should definitely read the dev blog on. This is basically an area in the wilderness where you can cast any magic spell for free. You, however, do not get the experience. Jagex gave 2 examples of how this would be useful. Alkables, alking things for money, basically free alking, so you're just making money. It would not be mage XP, you'd just be making money. So free alks. Now, you would be alking, and you would be creating gold, that is your gold, and you would be risking it. So once again, driving people who want to make money to the wilderness, giving them some sort of risk, and thus driving PKers to the wilderness. The other example they gave was superheating ore. I don't know how that would really work. The Fountain of Rune is quite far from a bank. Doesn't seem like the most ideal place, but those were the 2 examples Jagex has given us. Now, question 5. This is a very important question, and I'm not sure why it's even here. A lot of people have apparently been complaining that the Wildy Ditch is not for them. I have no complaints with the Wildy Ditch. I think it is a fantastic update. I do not think it should be removed. I don't know why people want it removed, so you can get into the wilderness faster. God forbid you have to click the ditch. I don't understand this at all. I think this adds a rise to luring. I think this adds a rise to a lot of scummy activities. So my vote is definitely no on this, and I would highly encourage you, if there's one thing you're going to vote no on, or pretty much vote the way I vote throughout this whole poll, the Wildy ditch is the one to vote no on. I think this is a big thing. We're already having issues with raggers in the Wildy. Let's not add luring to that list of horrible things that go down in the Wildy. It should not be part of this game. It is, but it is a terrible part of this game, and I don't think it should be part of this. Should we add, moving on from that terrible, glum, grim question, should we add a Dungeon of God Wars creatures to the wilderness? Sure thing. God Wars creatures, there's a lot of them that people actually are fighting over traffic. Spirit mages, there's a lot of people trying to kill spirit mages. There's not a whole lot of competition going on right now for spirit mages, but you add more of them, I'm sure people will find a use for them. It kind of depends on the God Wars creatures. I'm sure they highlighted them in the dev blog, but I can imagine they are the high traffic slayer monsters, stuff like that. So it's definitely, again, it's adding stuff that will drive people to the wilderness. I'm totally okay with it. Should a player be able... This is basically, to shorten this question, should you be able to see how many times you've died and killed people in the wilderness? Sure, that's a cool feature. I'm okay with that. Question 8. Should we replace red dragons with lava dragons in the wilderness? Now, as far as I know, the dev blog did not talk about any sort of stat changes. I think it's just a cosmetic thing. I'm not totally sure. I couldn't find anything about the lava dragon's stats or anything like that. But I'm okay. Sure. The real question here that matters is question 9, is if the lava dragons enter the wilderness, should you be able to get 3 times the amount of XP if you bury their bones in the lava dragon isle? There you go. Drive traffic to the wilderness. I like it. Get it done. It's perfect. Now, this is important because, as we know, dragon bones give, I believe, 72 XP per... Someone might be able to correct me on that. I think it's 72. I could be totally wrong. I could be totally right. I have no idea. Regardless, 3 times the amount of a dragon bone is quite fantastic, and it gives actually adds kind of what this game has missed for a long time, which is high-level prayer training that doesn't involve an altar or the ectofungus. So I'm totally okay with that. Definitely adds an interesting element to the wilderness, and I'm all about it. Should revenants be added to the wilderness in the Graveyard of Shadows? I don't think the dev blog talked about their drops, and you know what? I'm pretty sure it actually did. So you know what I'm going to do? And I definitely missed it. So here's the thing. They would have a drop table of useful drops, but would not drop any items that do not yet exist, such as PvP armor, weaponry, or brawling gloves. Excuse me. So I'm not sure the usefulness that people want out of these things. I'm going to vote yes, just, again, drives traffic, and why the hell not? It kind of makes the Graveyard of Shadows a little interesting. Hopefully they're not aggressive, but I don't know. Definitely no on the multi-combat zone. That's pretty simple. Any sort of direct change to how the Wildy's functioning is, I guess, clearly not in the minds of a lot of people. When Jagex first posted the dev blog, all of the, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, all of the Green Dragon areas were going to be made multi-combat zones, and they have removed that. There was clearly a big outcry of like, no, please don't do that. So I'm going to vote no just because I think that's where a lot of the player base is, and it's definitely not something I would mind. But I think a lot of people, including people who know the wilderness like the back of their hand, this might throw a little confusion in there. So I'm going to vote no, basically on the presumption that a lot of people will not like that. Should we allow players to be able to attack other players in a single-way combat area, even if either are currently in combat with an NPC? Absolutely. This is a no-brainer. If you're being attacked by a skeleton in the wilderness, you should not be safe from any other PKer. That's nonsense. Absolutely, yes. You should be able to attack people who are being attacked by monsters. That's ridiculous. Should we remove 10 worlds from the world list to boost activity on the other worlds? Yes. We currently have about 20,000 people playing RS every day, at least 2007. And as you know, there are about 4 worlds, I believe it's 69, 330, 1, and 2, that have more than maybe 800 on a daily basis. The rest of them all carry about 150 to 300. It would be nice to have some higher pop worlds, stuff like Dagonoth Kings, where if you're soloing Rex, the faster the spawn, the better. Big problem there is that, like, spawns are just so slow, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. So yes, I think removing 10 worlds, that's 2,000 players that have to be scattered amongst the rest of the worlds. I think that's a great idea. Should tradable items become immediately visible to all players if their owner chooses to drop them on the ground in the wilderness? Nope. Very simple. It's just kind of weird. Although, you know, there's two sides to this. So there's the one, people drop their items and then whoever PK'd them, and this is all deep wilderness stuff. When you drop your items, the PKer doesn't get it. If you're at a commonly, you know, if you're at a spot that you can teleport to with, say, Ancients, you can get back there before the loot appears and get it back. So that's an interesting little thing. It kind of removes a lot of things. I don't think the idea of not being able to drop items while in combat, which they threw out the window, which I'm glad. So I'm going to vote yes. If I drop a shark in the wilderness, I'm not really going to mind if somebody comes up and takes it from me. But stuff like, you know, running away in the wilderness and you start dropping your valuables, yeah, I guess that should appear right away. Makes pretty much the most sense. I like that fix for the issue that was brought up. So that's a good compromise. Should the Cave Kraken Slayer creature drop a new level 75 staff with a built-in spell for use against monsters? The spell is cast 20% faster than normal spells, with a max hit of 20 at magic level 75, rising to 28.99. Check the blog for full details. So I'm going to go ahead and, guys, and bring you to the blog here. So here it is. It doesn't really talk a whole lot about what it is. It's kind of like a polypore staff. It's a polypore equivalent, which I'm not a huge fan of, but basically you charge it up by giving it a bunch of runes. The max hit is a little high, I would say. The cost is totally reasonable. 1 death, 1 chaos, 5 fires, and 10 coins, which is quite a little interesting element there. It's kind of like a mind rune. You might as well have to add a mind rune to it. So the staff would be tradable. The casting rate 20% faster than for normal spells. That's huge. Let's be real for a second. That is a huge boost in attack speed. That's like going from a whip to darts, almost. I'm not really sure, like, I'm not really sure if that's the exact math, but this is a big thing. So I don't know. I'm not sure if this is what we need. We just came out with the Staff of the Dead. I love to call it the Doomcore Staff because, you know, Doomcore Staff, much cooler than Staff of the Dead. In any case, I'm very confused, and I honestly have no idea how to vote on this. It's something that I think I might want, but maybe not. It's one of those things that I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of lost on this question. So I'd love to know what you guys think. This should be one of those questions that you definitely down below in the comments. Let me know what you think about this. It's adding a big thing to the game, very, very sneakily. Jagex likes to do this with these polls, and kind of, you know, doesn't really, you know, they don't really emphasize it enough. So that's an interesting question. I'm gonna leave it blank for now, just to let you guys form your own opinions on that one, because I think this one, as much as I think that, you know, it could be a good idea, I think the community is going to be too split. I don't think it's going to get the 75%. So even if I voted yes, I don't think it's going to get there. Should we increase the AUG value on Bandos armor very slightly to make it protect over crystal equipment and Barrows equipment? Everyone's going to vote yes. Let's join the party. I'm tired of arguing against that kind of poll. Everyone votes the other way, so I'm just gonna vote with the masses on that one. Should we add a level 10 agility shortcut to shorten the route from Varrock's West Bank to the Spirit Tree? Yeah, buddy. This is basically what used to be. So if you guys are familiar with what happened in pre-EOC with the GE, they had that hole in the wall. That's basically that little, you know, shortcut under the wall. Brilliant. Go for it. Yes, you should be able to toggle the run energy on the minimap because everyone is clicking the freaking orbs when they try to turn the run energy on. Zarin, I'm looking at you. Should the prayer icon points near the minimap allow you to select some quick prayers and toggle them on and off when you click it? Now, this one is very interesting. It's one of those convenience things. It's something that I don't think should be in this game, though, so I'm voting no. I think that, you know, I just don't think that you should be able to do that in this game. That's my opinion. There's a lot of people who would argue that, like, oh, it'd be really useful. Yeah, it would be useful, but it changes. It's a big mechanic change, and I don't know. I don't feel like that is something we need. Should the health icon near the minimap allow you to cure poison or cure disease when you click it, provided you have the suitable items in your inventory? Sure, no problem. Just click something. You'll drink a potion. Not a huge change. Again, this is a big change because you can basically replace one click, or rather replace multiple clicks with only one, and a much more conveniently located one click. Instead of having to click your prayer icon and then click the multiple prayers that you want, you basically click one thing. That is a big deal. Again, don't think that should be in. This, again, is at most 2 clicks, replaced by 1. I'm okay with that. Should we increase the cooldown time on minigame teleports to 1 hour? This would effectively nerf people who like to teleport to the barrows, kind of stuff like that. The minigame teleports kind of added this basically very convenient teleport for a lot of people. It's an interesting question, and I didn't realize that the community was kind of up in arms about this. I'm not really sure what teleports were a little, I guess, to use the word, overpowered. So I'm not really sure. I'm going to vote yes just because I don't think they should be used the way people are using them right now. That's all I have to say. Should the God Wars Dungeon altars give a message stating how long you'll be able to use them? Yes, please. Why didn't this happen years ago? I'm so sick of keeping my timers. Not that I love God Wars as much as I used to. I fucking hate God Wars now. But hey, regardless, if you're in the clan chat channel, when you log out, and this is where we've moved on to, guys. We've pretty much moved on from the Wildy poll to just kind of random stuff. So we're gonna move through these ones very fast. This is automatically getting back into your clan chat channel. Good shit. Mithril Dragon Slayer tasks. I'm all about it. Should you have the option to pay some Slayer points to unlock Aviancies? Sure, Aviancies. Why not? Drive people to Aviancies. There's not really any reason to kill them other than getting kill count. Sure, give them a Slayer task. Why not? I don't know why anyone would pay to have them unlocked, but go figure. Should we add new channels to the minigame grouping to find... this is basically, again, this is just like more minigame stuff. It's just allowing more people to find people. Like, it's just, hey, let's try and find people. Like, I mean, it's just finding people for more things that you need a group of people with. The Waterbirth Island party is brilliant. I would love that. A lot of people need that. There's no current clan chat, as far as I know, that is just to get into the Dagannoth King's dungeon. You do need at least 2 people, so I like that. Should we add loot broadcast to the Calfight Queen, the King Black Dragon, and the Dagannoth Kings, and the Chaos Elemental? I don't see why not. Doesn't sound like a bad idea. Sure. Should Watered Saplings have a W appended to their names? Sure. This is, again, a lot of these are actually updates that should have come out in EOC just for convenience and, like, being more clear about what things are. This is a great little update. I love this. I might just start farming because this is so cool. Should the total level box show your total XP? Absolutely. And if anyone votes no to this, you are just a scumbag and you're just a terrible person. You're just a terrible person. So, I'm going to lock my vote in, guys. Thank you for watching this. I hope you guys learned something about the poll. I hope you guys took your time when answering these questions. This is the future of this game, so it is very important. This video was formed live on my Twitch channel, so feel free to come check me out over there. I just got Twitch partnership, so shit is getting real. I am live there Monday through Friday every day, and as usual, videos will be posted sporadically on this lovely little YouTube channel. Thanks for sticking by me, guys. I will see you in the next one. Peace!